is there even more controversy in the Red Sox clubhouse. Plus, the Sox get a much-needed series win over the Kansas City Royals. We're going to talk about both of those stories today, but before we get into it, I want to know where you're watching from. I want to get to know my audience a little bit more. And I know that Red Sox Nation spans nationwide, international, all over the world. So what I want you to do for me today is shout out your city in the comments down below. I want to see where you're rocking from, and I want to see how far Red Sox Nation truly spans. Welcome back into another episode of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lotteray, and like I said, we have even more controversy in the Red Sox clubhouse. I think this one is a bit of a non-story, but it is definitely something we should talk about, though, because it could have implications on potentially future call-ups, maybe? Let's talk about it. Sean McAdam posted his weekly, Sunday column before the game started, and he had a very interesting nugget around Ceddanne Rafaela and the Red Sox front office / Red Sox organization that did raise some alarm bells for me. Here's what McAdam had to say about Ceddanne. He said, "There's some growing frustration within the Red Sox organization about outfielder Ceddanne Rafaela. More than once, Rafaela has been advised in the dugout to take the first pitch in his next at-bat, only to swing freely minutes later. Rafaela showed in spring training that he could be more selective at the plate, but that discipline has mostly disappeared in the regular season." Now, there are conflicting reports around this said report from Sean McAdam. We had Red Sox assistant hitting coach Dylan Lawson responding to a tweet saying this report was news to him. So I don't really know what to believe. Sean McAdam, I trust as a source, and I trust that he has his sources within the Red Sox organization. I don't just think he would pull this out of his ass. I believe that there is at least some validity to this. However, if you have an assistant hitting coach for the Red Sox completely rebutting this, who do you believe? Now, is Lawson saying this to cool the flame and try to throw out a smoke screen and kind of throw everyone off the scent? It could happen. I mean, we're right in the middle of this Rafael Devers controversy. The last thing we want is even more controversy in the clubhouse. Or maybe Lawson's not involved with Ceddanne or in those conversations there. I don't know. So there are conflicting reports here, but it is an interesting thing to think about, though, because they were talking about this on the broadcast this weekend. Literally, I was listening to the radio broadcast and I was listening to the TV broadcast, and I believe they both brought up how Ceddanne has been a very free swinger on the first pitch of at bats. And so it's not just something that is out of the blue. This is something that has actually been talked about over this past week, and I actually agree with it. I am a big proponent of the first pitch usually is the best pitch you're going to get in an at-bat. So, have that green light to go. But just free swinging at every single first pitch is not a recipe for success. And Ceddanne, has been good, but he could be great. And we saw that in spring training with his selective nature at the plate. When he was drawing walks and when he was, working longer at bats, he looked like one of the best hitters on the Red Sox in spring training. Now, I will say, though, he's had a relatively good season, though. His stats so far this year, he's hitting .242, he's got an OPS of .667, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, 7 stolen bases, and really it's the defense. He has 8 defensive runs saved, which is tied for 4th in all of Major League Baseball. So he's looked, as good as you could want him to. But this is where it gets even crazier, though. And this is why this report I'm mixed on it. In the month of May, we're 11 days in, so smaller sample size, but in the month of May, Ceddanne's hitting .333. He has an OPS of .888, and he's become kind of a spark plug at the bottom of the lineup. We saw that in Game 2 against Kansas City, where he was kind of a spark plug and got things going at the bottom of the lineup. So, is this a big issue? I think in some ways, yes, because we've seen Ceddanne at bats where he swings at the first pitch, pops up, outs, that's the end of an inning, or that's an instant out that kind of hurts the Red Sox. But then we also have seen him put together good at bats. So I don't know really where I fall on this. I think that if Ceddanne's hitting the ball well, he should have the approach that is successful for him. However, if he starts to slump again, which we know has happened in the past, maybe those conversations start to get amplified a little bit more. But I did think it was a very interesting conversation to be had because he needs to stay in the lineup for now, but what could this look like in the future? And look, I actually really like the option of making him a super utility player. That might be a bit of an unpopular opinion, and I know that 8 defensive runs saved in center field is highly, highly valuable, but like David Hamilton right now is a liability on this roster. Like he had an error today or yesterday at the time of recording this in the 9th inning that had the tying run up at the plate. And it got really, really chippy there. And he's not hitting the ball either that well. So I am someone where, do you move Ceddanne to this super util role, still get him his at-bats, but then you open up a spot for a Roman Anthony? I think that's something we might need to consider. Because Ceddanne, while he's been hitting well, we have seen, I think, enough of a sample size to know that, will he plateau? What is his ceiling? I think those are a lot of really interesting questions. And this report of the Red Sox growing frustrated with Ceddanne, that might lead to some movements happening within the organization. If they're frustrated with him, well, they're not going to move him down to AAA because he is still contributing to a point, and the defense is valuable, so why not make him this super utility player? You don't play him every day. He plays in the infield a little bit. He plays in the outfield a little bit. You can call up Roman Anthony so that he gets a lot of time in the outfield. Look, this is just me speculating. This is just me, speaking from the top of my mind. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but with this report of growing frustrations around Ceddanne, it's an interesting conversation to be had. So, and I personally think that David Hamilton has grown to be a huge liability on the Red Sox so far. He has the defensive versatility, but when he plays defense, he's kind of a liability. So there's got to be a better way here. And I think that maybe moving Ceddanne to that super utility role could be very valuable. But you let me know. I want you guys to answer this question for me. Would you demote David Hamilton if that meant you would move Ceddanne to the super utility role and you would bring up Roman Anthony? Type Y for yes if you would. Type N for no if you would not. I'm spamming Y because this is just an idea that I came up with, which is actually an idea I had a few weeks ago as well. I think you move David Hamilton down, you make Ceddanne the super utility, and you make Roman Anthony your everyday outfielder. I don't know, though. You let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Would you make that move? Sound off in the comments section. Before we move on to the recap of the game, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you're a real one, consider hitting that subscribe button. I had someone in the comments on an earlier video tell me, you gotta stop talking about subscribers, this, that, and the other thing. Hey, I'm doing my job. I'm helping grow this channel. I love the Red Sox. I want as many Red Sox fans here as possible, so that's why I asked to subscribe, because I want to grow this community. I want to grow this little subsect of Red Sox Nation. So if you love the Sox, you love daily videos, hit that subscribe button. Absolutely free, doesn't cost you anything, no risk, high reward. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Red Sox win 3-1 over the Kansas City Royals. Much needed series win. I think it's very impressive that you lose the game you probably should have won, and then you win the 2 games that a lot of people didn't think you would win. The Red Sox showed a lot of really great poise this weekend, and that does pose a question for me. And this is kind of a worrying trend, but do the Red Sox play down to competition and then play up to competition? That'll make you a 500 ball club, but do they do that? Because when they played good teams, they've played well, but then when they played the bad teams, they don't play well. That's an interesting conversation to be had, but nonetheless, Red Sox win 3-1, much needed series win, and on a day when the Yankees are the game's not final yet at the time of recording this, but on a day when I would assume the Yankees beat the Athletics, you don't gain any ground, but you stay a game and a half back. So let's get into the stats. Let's talk about everything. The first things first is major tip of the cap, major shout out to Lucas Giolito. He pitched so well yesterday. He went 6 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run, but it was unearned, 1 walk, 5 Ks. After a very shaky start against the Rangers, where it was clear that he did not have good feel for his pitches, he only had a 2-pitch mix, he came out guns a-blazing, full steam ahead, which was really important because, again, the bullpen got heavily depleted on Friday. For you to give a lot of these guys rest was super valuable. You had Justin Wilson go an inning. He gave up a hit and had 2 Ks. Weissert went a third of an inning. He looked pretty good. Aroldis Chapman closed it out. He only sacrificed 1 hit as well. The bullpen looked good. You saved the bullpen. Going into Detroit, this is an all hands on deck type of series. And to have your bullpen at least a tiny bit rested over the last 2 days, because you had Crochet go 7 innings, which was incredibly valuable, and then you have Giolito basically go 7 innings. That, after Friday, where you used everyone except for Liam Hendricks, to really not have to use the bullpen at all the next 2 days, very valuable. I'm very happy that happened. And the Sox pitching looked really good. You let me know. Grade Lucas Giolito's performance for me. A, B, C, D, or F down below in the comments. I'm going to give it a B. No, I'm going to give it an A minus. Screw it. I'm going to give it an A minus. I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do. He looked good, which is great to see. So, yeah, I'm going to give it an A minus, but you let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade Lucas Giolito's performance down below in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. The Red Sox looked good offensively today. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 8 hits. You had the 3 RBIs, the 3 runs scored, and you look good. 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, not ideal. You only left 4 runners on base, and you end up with the 3 runs. Now, my issue with the Red Sox offense, and I've said this a few times this year, and it does concern me a little bit, is I do feel like there is a bit of an over-reliance on the home run, which, I've memed the Yankees for years. The Yankees' approach was home run or strikeout. And that does kind of feel like the identity of the Red Sox offense this year, which is a little bit concerning. You scored all 3 of your runs on home runs today. Wilyer Abreu had a solo absolute moonshot, and then Rafael Devers had the 2-run home run. Other than that, you really didn't do much. People got hits, but you didn't move them over, you didn't score them, you didn't do anything. You had 1 sacrifice bunt by Ceddanne Rafaela, but then they weren't able to score that run afterwards. So I am a little bit concerned about the Red Sox offense as a whole because, again, it's the over-reliance on the home run. That's not going to win you, enough games to make the postseason. Because this team, while they can hit home runs, should not be identifying as a home run slugging team. They should be identifying as a, get on base, steal bags, create havoc on the base paths, put pressure on the defense type of team. And they've done that a little bit this year, but a lot of these games we see a lot of their offense coming on the long ball, which is a good thing that they're hitting home runs, but again, if they don't hit home runs, hitting a home run is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. Like, when they're not hitting home runs, they're not scoring runs. And yesterday was a perfect example of this. They hit around. They were stealing bases. They were moving runners. They were doing everything they needed to do. 2 days ago, now at the time that this video comes out, they scored double-digit runs because they were moving runners. They were having good situational hitting. They were hitting the ball the other way. They had a good approach at the plate. And if you can do more of that, I think the Red Sox are going to be very successful. But again, a lot of these games have come off the backs of a few people hitting a few home runs. That's not going to be sustainable for an entire 162-game season. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that if you just continue to strike out double-digit times and only rely on the long ball. It's just not a good approach. And I know that they don't want that to be their approach, but it is concerning nonetheless. The star of the day is Rafael Devers. He went 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, runs scored, 1 walk, did not strike out. His OPS now is up to 888, which, considering where he started the season, is pretty incredible. I'm not going to lie. He looked really, really good today. And Rafael Devers is the face of your franchise. I literally made that the thumbnail for my recap short. He's the face of your franchise, and he has shut everyone up this weekend. He has hit the ball. He went 5 for 5 yesterday, or was it 4 for 4? He was 4 for 4 yesterday, and then or 2 days ago, and then he went 2 for 3 with a home run on this game yesterday. Like, he's very good at silencing the noise. And with all of this controversy around him, with the media, myself included, with the fans and everyone, being very vocal of their distaste of Rafael Devers, he put together one of his best series of the entire year and did kind of put the Red Sox on his back to win this series. So it's a good thing. He showed some really great poise this weekend. He showed that he was able to silence the doubters, silence the haters, and like it or not, Rafael Devers is the face of your franchise. That's why they are not going to trade him. Everyone in my comment section, everyone on social media I've seen wants him traded. But then you have a weekend like this, and it reminds you, nope, we're not going to trade him. There is just no way that happens. All right, the Red Sox go into a critical series against the Detroit Tigers. They got to win this series because this is one of the best teams in baseball so far this year, but I think that the Red Sox can go toe-to-toe with them from start to finish. The probables are Tanner Houck, Brian Bayo, Hunter Dobbins. I like it. If Houck comes out and pitches like he's been pitching, that's a recipe for success. Brian Bayo's had a really good start to his season. Hunter Dobbins has had a really good start to his season. I like the pitching probables. Would you love to have Crochet there? Yes, of course, but it is what it is. It's going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Red Sox play. I do think they can win this series. I think they can win any series they go into. It's just, what type of Red Sox are we going to see? Are we going to see the Little League Sox, or are we going to see the Big League Sox? That's really what it's going to come down to. Are they going to have the mental errors and the strikeouts, or are they going to be stringing together hits, not striking out, having good plays defensively, and pitching well? That's all it's going to come down to. But if they can win this series, that is a huge momentum shift heading back home for the next homestand. So you let me know before I get out of here. Predict the Red Sox record in this Tigers series. I'm going to go 2-1. I am. I'm going to go 2-1. You might call me crazy. I like the Bayo game, definitely. I really like the Bayo game. The one question that I don't know, and I'm going to look right now, do they face Skubal? Because if they face Skubal, that's a loss. But let me look right now. I do not see the probables yet. So Jackson Job's on the mound today at the time you're watching this against Tanner Houck. When did Skubal pitch last? That's probably the biggest indicator of this. Did not pitch on Thursday. He pitched on Friday. So you're not... Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You should not see Skubal, I don't think. No, you will. You'll see him in the last game. Sorry. I'm trying to match up the bullpens here. Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, no, you'll see him you should see him on Wednesday against Hunter Dobbins. So I'd say the Bayo game is a win. I guess you got to win the Houck game because Tanner Skubal's Tanner Skubal. Like he's not. It's just that's a tough win. So you let me know. Predict the record down below. I'm still going to go 2-1. I do think you lose the Skubal game if he is pitching on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure I lined that up correctly, but I could be wrong. But that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this video. Hit that subscribe button if you've not already. And until next time, go Sox.